Alright, so the banners for 1.5 are now confirmed. The banners for 1.5 are Zhongli first, and then Eula second. So, a lot of you probably have this question where, who should you summon? Now, now in this video, I'm going to try to answer that to the best of my ability. Now, first off, I'm going to talk about Zhongli and Eula. And then afterwards, I'm also going to talk about their banners as well, because through amazing sources, we know exactly which 4 stars are coming. First off, I'm going to talk about Zhongli and Eula individually first, and then afterwards, I'm gonna talk about their banners, because we know exactly what 4 stars are gonna come. So first off, let's start with Zhongli. Zhongli is really good. He gives you a really good shield that is very easily upwards of 20,000 HP. He also has a really strong ult with a very low cooldown and a very low energy cost, and it also has stun. He's basically a support that gives you a ton of HP and survivability, and also a lot of damage at the same time. He can also himself generate a lot of energy, which is also really nice. And this is the most important part. Characters protected by the Jade Shield will decrease the elemental resistance and physical resistance of opponents by 20%. Now, that's what Zhongli does. And now on to Eula. Eula is a very strong DPS. I've covered Eula a bit more in detail in this video specifically, in the top right corner. But aside from that, to summarize her, she's gonna be one of the hardest hitting DPS in the game, specifically for physical, because her physical modifiers get pretty ridiculous. Like, I'm talking 3,000% physical damage minimum ridiculous. And her normal attacks also do pretty good damage because she's a Claymore character. And her E has pretty good modifiers too, like here. And her E also reduces resistance. At level 10, she actually reduces them by 25%, so it's actually more than Zhongli's one, which is very interesting. So yeah, Eula is a super strong cryo/physical DPS, whereas Zhongli is a very strong survivability support with extra damage and Geo. Now, for which one to summon? This is actually quite a hard question, since both of them are super good. Alright, so now I'm gonna say this outright. In most scenarios, even though I am a Eula simp, Zhongli is objectively better most of the time for most players, just because Zhongli's niche of survivability support, he's really the only one that can actually do it. Because other shield characters, they are good, but they're not nearly as good as Zhongli, because they don't reduce defense, and their shields aren't that good either, because Diona's shield breaks way too easily unless you're fighting a cryo enemy, and Noel's shield has a bit too much downtime for my comfort. So most of the time, Zhongli will be a better choice. However, but now I'm going to talk a bit more in detail about these characters and how you should pick. Now, first off, let's assume you have almost every 4-star, maybe not the newer ones like Rosario, Sinyan, and Diona. Well, let's assume you have all these 4 stars here if you are a veteran player. Zhongli or Eula, based on 5-star characters. If you have Hu Tao and Xiao as your 2 main DPSs, I would say Zhongli all the way, because Hu Tao and Xiao directly benefit way more from Zhongli than Eula. And if you already have these 2 built, then Eula isn't as necessary, because they're already super solid main DPSs, and they also want a lot of time on the field, so you can't exactly use Eula alongside them very well. If you're using Ganyu as your main DPS, depending on how good you are with the bow, like if you don't need a shield and you can play range pretty well, then I would say if you're maining Ganyu, you should actually get Eula. because Eula can get up to 25% cryo resistance, and Ganyu and Eula both complement each other. Because Ganyu can also increase cryo damage, so your Eula can also benefit from that buff as well. And Eula also inflicts a very high cryo resistance decrease to the enemies, which also benefits Ganyu a lot. So if you're maining Ganyu, I think Eula is a better option. If you're maining Albedo, Zhongli is a better option, obviously, because Geo Resonance is insane. If you're maining Klee, it's completely up to you. Both are, because with Zhongli fixes Klee's problem of being squishy, but you can also fix Klee's problem of being squishy by just playing her effectively, like jumping all around the place instead of usually dodging. Because Klee was made to be very mobile. She was made to jump cancel. And you can use that jump to dodge all over the place. Anyways, yeah, Zhongli helps Klee, but Eula also kind of helps Klee since she's cryo. But not really. Since Klee wants to be on the field for pretty long. So if you're maining Klee and another main DPS, then Zhongli is probably a better bet. If you're maining Diluc, he doesn't really need much. He just needs Xingqiu, so it's like 50-50. Whoever you want is fine. Because Diluc doesn't get affected by those two, he just wants Xingqiu. Tataglia, he also just wants Fischl or Beidou for that constant electro charge, so Zhongli or Eula. Actually, Eula can benefit Tataglia because she's cryo, so you could do some like weird freeze comp if you want. For Mona, if your main is Mona, then Eula is definitely a very high priority for you. Because Mona combined with Eula probably could make a pretty dang strong freeze build, because then you can also just shatter because she's Claymore, and you just get extra damage pretty easily on top of freezing the enemy every now and then. If Chi-Chi is your main healer, then Eula is also really nice because you can pair Eula with Chi-Chi for that extra crit rate, although you probably wouldn't use Chi-Chi with Eula, because with Eula you want the ideal team with Eula is Bennett, Xinyan, and then just fourth character Fischl or Beidou. So yeah, you're not really gonna use Chi-Chi, but you can. Keqing is Electro, which makes her very, very good for Eula. She doesn't really need Zhongli since Keqing is so mobile. She moves like all the time. And she's Electro, which she can combo well with Eula, so Super Conduct can also work. And Venti just works with anyone. Jean also just works with anyone because they're a healer and then God. So yeah, that's for 5 stars. And for 4 stars, let's say, but now let's be a bit more general, because this is why I say objectively Zhongli is probably better for most people, even though I said Eula many times in the 5 stars. It's because with Zhongli, there aren't really any good shield characters for tanking. Noelle's shield is nice, but the downtime is too high. Diona's shield is too easy to break, and the cooldown's also pretty long. Zhongli's shield lasts way longer than his cooldown, and it's also basically indestructible. So you can basically just survive most of the time pretty easily. And it becomes a big deal, especially when MiHoYo are gonna add harder content, because of course they will. It's a game after all. They're gonna have to update it with harder content. And at some point, I wouldn't even be surprised if each hit does like 20k, if each hit does like 10k, 20k. So shields are much better for long term, and currently there's no good shield characters. Whereas when it comes to DPS, there's already a lot of DPS available. Not not necessarily physical, because Eula destroys every physical currently. Eula just destroys Razor in terms of physical. Eula also destroys Visual in terms of physical. Eula also destroys Kaching's physical. But in terms of overall damage, she's around Hu Tao Ganyu level. So it's not like she's super rare, completely irreplaceable. Whereas Zhongli, he's kind of irreplaceable right now because no one can do the shield job properly. Most of the time, the shields are just there as a failsafe, whereas Zhongli's one is just complete tank absurdness. So that's why I say Zhongli is generally better. But if you want a physical damage dealer slash crowd damage dealer that does a lot of damage, then pick Eula. Zhongli is just a more long-term option, but Eula is the more fun option, as I would say. So yeah, here are the banners. These are what the banners are gonna be. Now this was from a couple weeks back. A certain specific ban wave happened. This was around the time I could not find this anymore, but this is what was quote unquote revealed. And all of this looks pretty legit because we know Yanfei is coming with Zhongli for sure. Ningguang and Diona are most likely gonna come as well because it's about time. Ningguang and Diona haven't been here for a while. Xinyan and Beidou here makes sense because they haven't been here for a while. And Beidou is an electric support, Xinyan is a physical support. Barbara is there for some reason. I feel like this could change. Maybe. I hope so. But I'm not sure what they would change it to because Eula already has Beidou, electro support, and Xinyan physical support. So I'm not exactly sure what they could add more here. But yeah, these are the banners. Both banners are really good because Yanfei is actually super good. I'll discuss her in a future video. Not that far from this video's posting. Yeah, but Yanfei, to sum her up, is basically Klee if she was 4-star. Slightly weaker Klee with higher range. Ningguang, we know she's really good, and Diona's kinda okay. And now in Eula's banner, Beidou is really good. Xinyan is really nice physical support, and Barbara's eh. So both their banners, I'd say Zhongli banner is a bit better, but if you already have Ningguang near max C6, then Eula's banner is better. If you already have a bunch of constellations for Xinyan or Beidou, then Zhongli's banner is better. This, of course, is talking about the 4 stars. The 5-star value is really up for you to decide because not everyone's account is the same. So yeah, that's it for the video. This was just a short video, and I hope that I help you decide who to pull for, either Zhongli or Eula, because both of them are really good. So it's honestly quite a hard choice. So yeah, see you guys next time.